I guess that wasn't loud enough. Is this on? Good morning. Woo! We got soccer highlights? All right, my name is Dan Chikala, and on behalf of First Unitarian Church of Wilmington, I'd like to welcome you to our worship service. Our theme for the month is trust, which is what we seek to build this community on. A community you can trust will have your back, a community that you know will accept you, a community where no one is worried that they'll be rejected if they accidentally show who they really are. And now, more than ever, we engender that trust by building a congregation that's diverse, equitable, and yeah, I'll say it, inclusive. So please, let everyone into the circle by giving a warm welcome to those around you. And now let us prepare our hearts and minds for our gathering today.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Larry Piers. I have the joy of being the minister here at the First Unitarian Church of Wilmington. If you're visiting us today for the first time, you're going to wonder, wow, are all of their services like this? Because we're going to do some playful and some fun things today. But those who've been here for a long time will always say to you, we always do fun and playful things here. So as our call to worship this morning, which is focused on improvisation and life, I shared these words by Ruth Gordon in her role as Maud in the movie Harold and Maude. How many of you have seen that movie? Okay, I'm so surprised that my nephew, who's in his 20s, this is one of his favorite movies. So here are the words to gather us this morning. From the character Maud. A lot of people enjoy being dead, but they are not dead, really. They're just backing away from life. Reach out. Take a chance. Get hurt even. But play as well as you can. Go, team, go. Give me an L, give me an I, give me a V, give me a E. Live. What do you get? Live. Maud concludes, otherwise, you got nothing to talk about in the locker room. Let's try that cheer. Give me an L. Give me an I. Give me a V. Give me an E. What do you have? Live. Great. And we even got some cheerleaders in this row here.
If you have a chalice at home, I invite you to join me by lighting it to these words by Reverend Scott Taylor. We gather today to receive the blessings of trust. May the relationships in this room remind us we do not have to depend only on ourselves. May the quiet we share help us hear and renew our faith in that still, small voice inside. May the music sung inspire us to hold tight to the restorative rhythms of the world. May the words offered remind us that we too have a voice, one that must be trusted and shared. With our hearts open, let us begin. So please rise and body your spirit to sing hymn number 1018, Come and Go With Me. And don't forget to remain standing afterwards for the unison aftermath.
Come
good one. You guys did it justice. Thank you. So please join me in affirming our mission. First Unitarian Church of Wilmington is a beloved community that nourishes minds and spirits, fights injustice, and transforms the world through loving action.
Let's prepare ourselves to bring stillness in our own bodies and in this space where we are gathering. Do whatever it is that you need to do to find a moment of stillness in the midst of whatever noise there might be around us. It is said that improvisation is about listening to what the moment is telling you. So let's take some time in this shared silence to listen what the moment is telling us. As we come out of this time of silence slowly, let's recognize whatever it is that is capturing our heart in this moment, whatever concerns we might have for our world, for those we love, or even for ourselves. So let's take a moment and attend to those concerns. And in a moment, I'll invite you to speak them aloud in this room. But first, let's listen. So we'll start here. I'll just say up front, there's a lot of cray-cray going on in our government, and it really concerns a lot of us, right? So we got that one covered. What other concerns might there be? Let's start with this area.
Our children with disabilities.
Mm-hmm. Children with disabilities.
People having problems
Affording enough food.
Education system.
The education system.
All I want.
Mm-hmm. Any other concerns you want to articulate? And if you're joining us online, feel free to write your concern in the chat. Let's go to this area of the room. What are the concerns that you're holding that you do not need to hold alone, but you can speak aloud in this room so that we can hold them alongside of you?
My friends Ralph and Jack.
Ralph and Jack.
People who take pride in being ignorant.
Okay.
Cousin Greg. The rule of law.
rule of law,
Greed.
greed. So as we name something, just feel the weight of it, but feel it as a weight that you alone do not have to hold, but that we can distribute in this room. What concerns might you have here? Friends struggling to support others. Bullying in school. Trans people. Yeah, Judy and Nikki. Immigrants living in fear. What concerns might you be holding? Okay, Brenda and Dennis, grieving their spouses. Friends in Ukraine. Elder care. Loneliness. Those struggling with addiction. Mental health struggles. Educational futures for black children. So you might want to hold your hands like this as a way to symbolize our holding the weight together. Sense what it's like for an individual or a community to be holding these. Bring them close to your heart, and let's hold them collectively now and through this week as we endeavor together to be a caring, compassionate community that embodies justice. How about a joy or two? There's got to be some joy somewhere. Any joy that anyone wants to express? Yes? Ruth met his 96th birthday. This week, yeah. Beautiful music.
The bees are finding pollen.
The bees. Any other joys? Yes. Wow. Okay, now you had to see the whole impact of what she said. My first golf game, she said. Let's everybody do that. My first golf game. We're with you. We're patting you on the back. Okay, any other joys that you might have? Sun is still shining. This congregation. Developing new friendships. Was there another one in here today? Friendship also. Let's hear it for friendship. Any other joys that you want to express now in this room?
It's not getting dark at 5 o'clock anymore.
Yes. Yes.
My garden is coming alive.
Okay, nice. Okay. Buttercups.
My sister's elderly dog.
Okay. Sisters in Fiber Arts. Dog and cat rescue. Singing your favorite songs today. Let's sing them with gusto so you can really enjoy them. So let's imbibe that joy and know that one another's joys can also be our own, and that we can share and be inspired by the joy that someone else has. May all those names who were spoken, those unspoken, find peace and healing this day.
What wondrous love is this?
So glad that Keri's going to join me today. I told her this morning, gosh, it was so great to know that I didn't have to hold this whole space alone this morning, that she would be there with me. As you know, our topic is life as improvisation. So a friend of mine, a clergy person, said this week that she had been talking to a friend of hers who said to her, "My shoulders and neck are so tight. It's like my head is too heavy to hold up." My friend Cameron instantly recognized that she too had been feeling the same thing, and she wrote, "My shoulders are like stone. My back is aching. Now I could see why. My body, like hers, was carrying the weight of the world. Maybe yours is too. Maybe yours is too? Perhaps all of us are holding a tension, each in our own way, about what is happening in our world. The suffering of people we care about and those we don't even know. The apparent unraveling of decency and democracy. The careless disregard of our fragile and sacred earth, and the apparent mean-spiritedness emanating from our current government that seems to belie many of our cherished values of generosity and care for the common good. What is more, the increased capitulations we are observing in universities and law firms, media organizations, it makes us wonder, no, it makes us fear. Where is all of this heading, right? Indeed, we are all carrying a bit of the weight of the world. Today, we want to invite you individually and all of us collectively into a different way to hold whatever is happening in our lives or in our world. We want to invite you to tap into some of the resources that can broaden our repertoire of responses, stimulate our resiliency, and strengthen our resolve to create an island of sanity and to show up boldly and forthrightly in this world. So I had a taste of some of that just yesterday. I went to a demonstration to save our democracy in Philadelphia, and this young woman held up a big poster over her head with an arrow at the bottom of the poster pointing down to her face. And I'm just reporting, the sign read in large letters, "This is my resisting bitch face." I couldn't help laugh. You couldn't either, right? In the midst of the seriousness of what we were witnessing in our world, what we are witnessing in our world, I welcomed that levity, that playfulness, and yet that boldness that was captured in her sign. I believe what Keri and I want to help us recognize today is that within us is a deep source of spontaneity, of play and improvisation that contains a wisdom of its own. And I would add, that can heal us. No matter how heavy the weight of this world might feel, there's an improvisational spirit within and among us that still allows us to choose to hold things differently. Improvisation invites us to boldly and intentionally and consciously enter those unscripted moments of our life. Improvisation invites us into those edges where playfulness and being on the edge of the unknown seems to be the most honest and healthy response there can be. It was the Spanish poet Antonio Machado, who wrote these verses that I recall often these days. Walker, your footsteps are the road and nothing more. Walker, there is no road. The road is made by walking. Keri and I first started talking about doing a service focusing on improvisation months ago, right? Little did we know that what would be happening in our world at the time we eventually scheduled this for a Sunday in March 2025. Actually, it feels like just the topic that we need at a time when we've been trying to make sense of some dramatic events in our world. It feels like just the topic to bring us some lightness, some play, and to try on some new ways of being. Now, I have been inspired in my life by those who approach life with enthusiasm, creativity, and a courageous playfulness. I recognize that some of us may feel that because of our age, because of our temperament, or because of our circumstances, or because we're too close to our expiration date, that improvisation or playfulness can't really fit into our lives. We might claim that we are too set in our ways. Well, let me tell you about my friend Sam Keene. I had the good fortune to attend some workshops with Sam Keene, and he shared this story with us while he was in his early 70s. Take a note. 2 days before his 62nd birthday, he enrolled in a training program at San Francisco School of Circus Arts. He learned to fly on the trapeze. He shares the story in his book, Learning to Fly, Trapeze Reflections on Fear, Trust, and the Joy of Letting Go. He declares in the book, thus far, I've been a man of gravity, serious, strong, rigid, taut, heavy, and earthbound. It's time for levity, for lightness, and for soaring. He goes on to write, a great trapeze act is a kind of performance art. Like a Navajo sand painting, it shows you something of exquisite beauty, perfect form that lasts only for an instant and then is gone. Trapeze is a physical mode of where every day I have to face fear, limits, trust, and the exhilarating feeling of living on the edge. Living at the edge and taking risks and trying new things. So let me just say that nothing that Keri and I will invite you into today even approaches the kind of risk-taking and trusting of the trapeze act. So that being said, let's invite ourselves to living at the edge, taking risks, trying on some new things through some simple improvisation practices today, okay? So, Keri, as I turn now over to you, could you begin by telling us what lured you towards improvisation and what you've discovered along the way?
Thank you, Larry. First, let's quickly define what we're talking about when we say improvisation. Improvisational theater is very different than stand-up comedy. Sometimes the two are confused. In stand-up comedy, an individual comedian performs a rehearsed monologue of jokes intended specifically to elicit laughter and amusement. Improvisational theater, on the other hand, is a completely unscripted performance by a group of 2 or more players who together create spontaneous scenes, which could be comedic or dramatic, that are based on suggestions provided by the audience just a few moments before the performance begins. Similar to improvisation in jazz music or trapeze, improv theater exists only in the moment. It is different every time, and cannot be repeated. Hopefully that makes sense. So, to answer your question, in a former life, some 20 plus years ago, I was living and working in Los Angeles, and my friend Lisa invited me to see her perform in an improvisational theater show. That particular show that I saw was a unique style. It was very different from the Whose Line Is It Anyway style of short form improv that many of you have seen on TV. It was a show based on monologue storytelling, in which each player gave a 10-minute improvised monologue based on a suggestion that the audience provided at the start of the show. I watched, mesmerized, terrified, but mesmerized not only by the entertaining and very emotionally rich stories that were shared, but also by the uninhibited bravery each player exhibited as they took the microphone and delivered their impromptu narrative. I was so moved that evening that I was inspired to find out if I could do it myself. A short backstory here. As a kid, I enjoyed theater, and I was comfortable being on stage, whether dancing in a dance recital or giving a commencement speech during my high school graduation. Yet, at some time during my years in college, I developed a voice tremor that would emerge each time I would have to give an oral presentation. The tremor would be so pronounced at times that I would turn very red from embarrassment. Despite attempts to pre-compose my presentations, rehearse them, or even read aloud text that was prepared for me by others, the tremor continued to manifest, and I grew to hate public speaking. So fast forward to my friend's improv show. Lisa succeeded in enticing me to enroll in an 8-week level 1 improvisation class, where she assured me that I would have a blast because level 1 is all about playing games. There's no audience, just a bunch of people having fun together. And she was right. Our class spent 3 hours a week together, acting like farmyard animals, practicing gibberish, and playing make-believe, just like I did with my friends down the street and at theater camp when I was 9 years old. The naturalness of the play, which had gone dormant during adolescence and early adulthood, was reemerging. It was a deliciously refreshing antidote to the 9-to-5, productivity-based working world that I entered after graduate school. I felt rejuvenated after each class, and my creative neurons were awake and thirsty for whatever crazy activity we would do next week. Does this sound enticing? Yes. Want to give it a try? All right, here's a game called Zip, Zap, Zup, which is a passing of a pattern. So the only words to this game are zip, zap, zup, in that order. And we will repeat them over and over. So what's going to happen is I will start by passing the first word, zip, to a player. Let's say Reverend Larry. He'll respond by passing the next word, zap, back to me.
Okay.
And then it'll be my turn to pass the final word, zup, to another player. So let's just have a back and forth to practice. Dan, you might want to join as well. You may. Zip.
Zap.
Zup.
Zip.
Zap.
Zup.
Zip.
Zip. Zap.
Zup.
Perfect. You get the hang of it? Okay, so this is how we'll do it. We'll section off the congregation based on the area in which you're sitting. So that group of seats by the windows will be one group. Center will be a group. Other aisle windows will be another group, and choir will be your own group. So every time you receive a word from me, you'll pass the next word back to me. So it'll ping pong in this fashion. But I might start with a zip over here, I might give you a zup there, I might give you a zap here, depending on where we are in the pattern. The point of this is to get comfortable saying weird words and just developing some focus. So let's start with this. Zip. Zup. Zap. Zip. Zup. Zap.
Zup.
Zap. Zip. Zup. Zap. Zip.
Zap.
Zup. Zap. Zip. Zup. Zap. That was beautiful. You notice it got faster and faster the more that we caught on to the pattern. Do you have anything to add to that, Larry?
No. Great.
All right, I'll continue. So my level 1 improvisation class consisted of 8 students of varying ages and from varying backgrounds. One classmate was an animator at Disney, another a stay-at-home dad who was also an aspiring stand-up comedian. There was a construction manager from Georgia, an occupational therapist from Washington State, a screenwriter, a few actors, and me, a quiet architect from Pennsylvania Amish country. We had so much fun together in the level 1 class that no one wanted to quit when it was over. So during the subsequent levels 2, 3, and 4 classes, FYI, the improv world operates kind of like a pyramid scheme. Once you get in, you can't get out. We continued to laugh, cry, surprise, torment, explore, and create together. Despite our very different backgrounds and daytime lives, this collaboration was possible because we were being trained through improvisation techniques to listen to each other and trust that our ideas would be accepted and advanced through a process called yes and. Yes and refers to the way in which we respond to our scene partner's offer, whether that offer be a statement that's verbalized, an emotion expressed on their face, or an activity that they are miming with their hands and body. When our scene partner makes an offer, we yes it by agreeing that their offer is an idea we will play with. The and is our way of using that initial offer as a spring point for raising the stakes of the idea or the game that we have agreed to play with. Here's an example. If I say to Reverend Larry, "You sure know how to cut a rug, Uncle Gerald," then Reverend Larry might say yes by responding in a way that acknowledges that he is an experienced dancer and that he is playing the role of my uncle in our scene. Then he might add a new detail to build on the idea. Let's see how he does.
Oh, gosh, okay, let's try.
"You sure know how to cut a rug, Uncle Gerald."
Yes, and you've only seen me dance in church.
Yes. And you're going to get a spotlight at my wedding.
Yes, and I love to dance. Once I start dancing, I can't stop.
You see how it goes. Back and forth, we could keep climbing the ladder of the yes-anding. So here's an exercise for us in giving and receiving offers. This is called sound ball. So we're going to toss around an imaginary ball made of sounds. There are no wrong sounds. There are no wrong balls. Whatever comes out of your mouth is correct. So this is how it'll work. I'm going to example with Larry.
Why do I always get chosen first? All right, go ahead.
But Dan can play too.
Okay, great.
So I'm going to toss to Reverend Larry about a sound ball with a random sound that I will make. He's going to receive the ball by holding it or miming it in his hands looking me in the eye and repeating the sound that I gave him with the ball. Then he is going to pass a new sound ball to Dan with his own sound, and Dan will receive it by repeating that sound. So,
Blup.
so we've given ourselves 3 different balls. We've accepted the offers, and then we've created a new ball to give to our next player. So we'll start with the person sitting along the windows at the very end of this aisle. Each person in that row will start. I see some seat shifting. We're going to take the gift of the sound ball and gift it all the way across to that side of the windows. That's for you folks back here. In the choir, we'll start with you, and we can continue with the sound ball passing through all the rows. Let's see how it goes. So the person on the end will create a sound ball and toss it to the person to your right, who will receive it. Make sure you have eye contact when you toss that ball and when you receive the ball. The receiver will repeat the sound as a thank you, as a yes, and then turn to the person on their right and toss a new sound ball to that person. So there's going to be a lot of sound happening. The only person or people that you need to focus on are the persons to your right and left, who you will be receiving from and giving to. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you want to start there, and we'll start here. I think we've everyone's had a chance to receive a ball, right? Okay. Does anyone want to share what that felt like? It was fun? Fantastic. That's the whole point.
Should I go to my PC?
Yeah.
So, as Unitarian Universalists, we endeavor to engage in the religious in such a way that it is, at its heart, is improvisational. Is this on? Okay. Rather than indoctrinate, we invite each person to a place of creative imagination in matters of religion. Our UU religious educator, Sophia Lan-Faz, stated it this way in her familiar piece, "It matters what we believe." Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies. Such an approach to the religious provides relief to those who may be fleeing from a religious past of so much indoctrination that they felt constrained, not knowing what to trust, or even how to trust their own real experiences and honest questions. However, such a creative approach to religion can also feel scary as an empty stage might feel to an improviser. Over time, we try to hone our capacities as Unitarian Universalists to practice this creative approach to religion. And it's much like improvisation, much like what you just did with the sound ball. We open ourselves to receive from all that is our life and from one another, who may have a different perspective, a different sound, and have different experiences than our own. And then we seek to ground ourselves in meanings and perspectives that will keep us open, curious, and receptive to what is holy, what the holy is doing within life. Whatever we receive from life, whatever we receive from another person, we shift it and change it as we process within, and we transform it in a way, in our way of being and living in the world. We give our own sound back. Our process of creative religion making reminds me of a song that we often sing in new member welcoming here. From you I receive, to thee I give, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Well, that leads us into the next perspective and experience you have for us, Keri.
So after almost a year of weekly improv classes together, my adult-aged playmates and I reached the final level of the conservatory theater program, in which we would be asked to perform in front of an audience every Friday night for 6 months. Spoiler alert, my voice tremor was not cured. But proceeding with this step was indeed a gut-wrenching decision, but by then our group had developed the kind of team mentality that made us feel very optimistic and confident in our tribe-like naivete. And now I had some skills and an easy rapport with my troop mates, so that I wanted to continue. I wanted to play on stage with them, amuse them, tease them, surprise, disturb, delight, and most of all, support them with playful offerings and creative responses to their offerings. And so we did perform. And that first show was absolutely exhilarating, a complete rush. In sports terms, we crushed it. Every scene and game. I never had so much fun. But as sometimes the case with performances, the adrenaline rush of the first show was not to be recreated. At our next show, and almost every show after that, we flopped. We made mistakes left and right. We lost our train of thought. We forgot to listen to each other. We said, yes, but, or simply no, over and over again. We stopped having so much fun on stage and started blaming each other. Dealing with these so-called mistakes is an integral part of improvisation. It's one of the hardest skills to learn because it's counter to our natural instincts. We fear making mistakes for numerous reasons. It makes us embarrassed. We feel we're being judged as inadequate. We let ourselves and others down, to name a few reasons. So in improv, we practice exercises in justification and commitment, committing to an idea, which entail finding a way to make that odd thing, also known as the mistake, make it make sense, and then committing to it as though it were a gift with new opportunities to explore. At the core of this work is accepting our mistakes, not as things to be ruminated upon, but as fertile ground for transformation and a better outcome, or a more interesting scene in improv terms. So here's an example of a real-life anecdote. that was owned up to and ultimately rewarded. A college student majoring in communications applied for an internship at an organization that interested her. The application required taking a 4-hour timed test that included multiple essays. When she hadn't heard back from the organization, she reviewed her test results and realized she had misspelled a word 3 times in her essays. It was the same word, rationale, but instead of rationale with an E at the end, as in the rationale for this source is, she forgot the E at the end, so that the sentence read, the rationale for selecting this source is. Of course, her heart sank at realizing that this small mistake could have cost her the job that she wanted. But because she had some improv training experience, she decided to own her mistake. She wrote to the company, thanking them for the opportunity to apply, and acknowledged that she had made these spelling errors. And she even took that opportunity in her letter to use the word rationale with the E to demonstrate that she did indeed know how to spell the word and use it properly. A few days later, she got the job. And so it is with improv. After years and years of making mistakes on and off stage, and practicing self-flagellation after most of them, I've come to realize that the world doesn't stop turning because I slipped up. On stage, I practice transforming my own or my scene partner's mistakes into gold by agreeing and committing to the new reality with every fiber of my character's being. Even off stage, I see mistakes as a way to learn a lot about myself and others, and as opportunities to forgive myself and others. Thanks to marriage, I'm getting better and better at accepting and owning these shortfalls and forgiving graciously and with compassion. In case you're wondering, my husband is not here today to confirm or deny this statement, so let's just agree to say yes, and I will demonstrate my approach to mistakes right now. This is taken from a game called Circus Bow. Very late last night, I changed the script for today's service and gave Reverend Larry very little time to modify his script accordingly. I'm very sorry. Can I get a round of applause, please? Larry, would you like to take a circus bow?
Sure. Well, I made the commitment during Lent to not shop on Amazon. Last night, automatically, I turned to watch the next episode in the series, RuPaul's Drag Race, because we're right in the middle, and that is an Amazon product. Amazon Prime. Can I get it?
Yes, yes, yes.
A little more applause, please.
Take your bow.
All right. I'll take a bow.
Dan, do you have any mistakes that you'd like to pronounce to the congregation?
I had too much caffeine and too little food today, so if I might be distracting and jittery behind these people.
Is there anyone else who would like to stand up and state one mistake you made this morning or this weekend? And the rest of us will give you a round of applause. Yes?
The night before last, I was too lazy to walk my little neck pillow back over to where I had it, so I tossed it across the room, knocking a glass off the table and shattering it in a million pieces.
Yes? All right, I don't see any other takers, so I'll continue.
Maybe I should include.
Okay,
because of the
go
time.
ahead, yes.
Yes, okay. So underlying all that we've shared today with you is keeping alive within us, no matter our age or our customary excuse, a playful, creative, judgment-free attitude within life and within religion. This is our human vocation, to co-create the world rather than just adapt to it, to improvise with what comes our way. I like the wisdom in this quote attributed to Viktor Frankl: between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response, he concludes, is our growth and our freedom. So, as part of a community that is creating an island of sanity, there are some insights and perspectives and practices within improvisation that I think can serve us well. Let us hold that space between stimulus and response as a holy space within us and among us. And now I want to teach just one quick thing. This is called the Great Reset Button, Great Cosmic Reset Button. Are you ready to learn it?
Yes.
Okay, so imagine right in front of you is a button, like a reset button. Take your hands like this, and on the count of 3, very slowly move towards pushing that reset button, and notice what happens when you press the great cosmic reset button. 1, 2, 3. Do you feel it? Yeah. It's available to us at all times. Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3. So, we have a way to choose our responses and to make available at any moment a time to reset. Okay. Thank you, Keri.
Am I on? All right. I have a corporate day job. My boss has a favorite saying: nothing happens until we make a sale. Anytime we want to launch a new product, nothing happens until we make a sale. Anytime we need a new tool to make our jobs easier, nothing happens until we make a sale. Anytime we need to hire new staff to take a little bit of the load off of us, nothing happens until we make a sale. In case you can't tell, I hate that saying. What I really can't stand about it, is that he's right. Like it or not, whether you're sitting there thinking, that's not how it would work if I were in charge, whether that's how it'll be in the classless utopia somewhere far off beyond the mountains, it is how it works for now. I don't want to speak for you, but when I think of the things in the church that this church does best, the beautiful music, our great youth and children programs, things like that, just to name a few, there are things that we invest in. Sure, a lot of that is through the hours and effort that are invested by the incredible talent of our church. But also, and believe me, it hurts me to say it more than it hurts you to hear it, it takes money. There are many ways you can contribute to the church, and they will all be displayed up here during the offertory music. Now please join me in dedicating our offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are our offerings.
The
We now extinguish the chalice to these words from Reverend Angeline Jackson, and I'll invite you to reflect on this reading afterward. May we remember that trust, like love, grows in small amounts, in promises kept, in confidences held, in boundaries respected, and amends made, in showing up again and again. May we be brave enough to risk trust, patient enough to build it closely, and gentle with ourselves and others when it breaks. So as you go forward to the coffee hour, or Keri's great improv class, or to your homes or soccer events or Sunday dinners with families or what have you, I invite you to reflect on how you can make trust grow in small moments. Whether that's the trust we earn from others, the promises kept, the boundaries respected, the amends made, or the trust we afford to others to be, as Angeline Jackson says, gentle with others when our trust is broken. Or by building new bonds of trust, by welcoming new people into your circle as we move on to the next portion of church. So with that said, if anyone hectors you in the coffee hour today, you've got me to blame for that.
Thank you. I have That's fine. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, choir. Thank you for the musician, and thank you, Kathy, for directing. Thanks to our AV team, and thank you for being here today. Have a few announcements before we do our benediction and closing song. So, stewardship for our 2025-26 budget is occurring now. We are at that place where I want to make just one last plea so that we can move on to the next step, which is building our budget for the next church year. So as you can see from the chart, we're at about 88% of our goal. Our total goal is about $570,000, and we're at about $500,000. Reach into your pocket, or better yet, make a pledge if you haven't yet done so. They're at the welcome table, the pledge forms. This is the time to do it so we can move on to those next steps to plan our budget, okay? Okay, so I just want to say something about next Sunday. We have a very relevant and engaging Justice Sunday, which has been planned as a collaborative effort between the Human Rights Task Force, our ongoing commitment to the work of the UU Service Committee, and our worship team. At 9:30, you're invited to make a sign to use at our Save Democracy demonstration immediately following the service. At 10:30, our member, Jeffrey Lott, will be preaching on facing fascism, how UUs can defend democracy. Jeff's an activist for nonviolence and social change. He's worked in a variety of organizations, the UU Delaware Advocacy Network, Peace Week Delaware, Pachman Terrace, and so forth. In the service, we will be acknowledging and contributing to the ongoing work of the UUSC, Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, which was a humane response during the time of fascism in Europe during World War II, and has had a continuing role in advocating for human rights. So our shared plate contribution next Sunday will go to the UU Service Committee. Then, soon after the service concludes, we'll assemble on 202 Concord Pike for the protest to save our democracy. Please wear your yellow Side of Love First U t-shirt if you have one. Kim, do you want to demonstrate? Okay. And then the final announcement is on Sunday, April 6th, the board conversation to talk about next steps related to the ministerial search will happen right after the service in this room. So our benediction today, I'll just take a verse from our closing song, Let It Be a Dance. I first heard this song when I was 17 years old, just beginning to attend a UU congregation, and Rick Maston, the person who wrote this song, happened to be the minister that day. So it caught me. It captured my heart and my spirit. And one of the chorus words are, let it be a dance we do, May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. If you're visiting us today, don't be alarmed if you see people dancing in the aisles as we sing this song. Let's sing together now. Rise in body or spirit is what I mean to say. And let's sing 3:11, Let It Be a Dance. The words will also be on the screen.
Thank you.